Hello, people. Hope you're doing all right. Let me take 30 minutes of your time on how I did cookathon of a certain number of meal. Before I started, I went to the store, get a few fish, snail, vegetables, ugu. Then I did a list of what I was going to cook. There was jollof rice, fried rice, rice and beans, beans and plantain, beans and yam. I did a list and trying to get as much varieties of food I could do. And there was egusi and ugu, there was vegetable and ugu. I think there was a fried yam, boiled yam, um just different type of food. And they were like soup, fried soup. And let's go do that in less than 24 hours. So we peeled like onions, soaked all the dry fish and the snail. Then I started off with cooking the beans. I'm boiling some of the protein. The beans, before it was cooked, I separated some of it so I could use for the yam and for the rice. I boiled the yam. All of the food I was cooking, I was labeling it because it was going to be frozen. At this time, the plantain and beans was ready, and that was from the base of the beans I labeled it. I think I packed about 4 plates of that. While this was cooking, I was frying the pepper and blending them. So I blended pepper to do the jollof rice, the fried rice. I fried the rice in oil with curry and thyme, salt and Maggi. The only bottleneck that got me frustrated in this cookathon was the size of the pot, because I really wanted to do large quantity, but the pot wasn't as big as I really wanted. And that's the base of the jollof rice being cooked. I meant the base of the jollof rice was being fried. That was just the tomato, and the pot of soup was cooking. The pot of soup had beef as the protein. And I went on to bring the already a fried and blended pepper, added it to the pot. You see how much base of jollof rice I had already at this point in time. So I was already thinking, how am I going to separate this base with the rice? But I knew that we could always do that. And I was being gassed up behind the camera. And then I went clock it. It was a good day. The fried rice was almost done here. I'd added veggies. I'd added bits of protein from the offals that I got. At this point, I'd had to separate the fried rice into 2 different pots. Then I packed up the soup that I was cooking into 3 bowls. If you could look at the floor, you could see that the slice of ugu and veg and blended pepper is there. I had to use all the surface available, and the beans and yam was done, and I had to label it. I got about 3 bowls out of that. Labeling was another show off for me. See me writing a capital letter. Anyways, labeled all of that, and I kept on gassing myself I have to finish cooking this. What's next? What next? What next? But stay with me. You've not seen anything at all. I needed to take a break now, and I had to check the list and tick off what I've been able to do. Then I took a break because I was so sleepy. I was exhausted. I was tired. I had the longest of days and nights, and that's the number of plates that was ready. Then got back up, and this was me trying to do atadidi. This atadidi had base of palm oil and groundnut oil and iru and loads of onions and fish and offals and snails. So I left it to cook and fry thoroughly. I can tell you for free, this pepper finished first in all of the food that was cooked. And there was the rice and beans. I was able to pack 7 plates. Then I started getting ready for the vegetables. That's assorted, that's offals, that's urishi, anything you want to call it. I boiled it 2 days before. I defrosted it, and I started cutting it into tiny bits so that I'll use it for the egusi and efo riro. Then I cut the snails into tiny bits. At this time, it was soft enough. I went on to check on my atadijoniru, then started putting the protein in the veggie base, and so that it's going to fry properly and soak through the protein. Then there was loads of fish that was bought. Bonga, whatever slice fillet, a lot that I had to cut using all of the muscles in my hands. At this point, it's going to be very nice to put a disclaimer out there. I am not a social media or cook vendor. I'm trying to cook for the home. And so the background, the lighting, everything looks like it is not being hidden from the camera. So please be nice. So that's the base of the veg. And at this time, the pepper was ready. I just needed to pack it up. So I gave it time to cook properly and made sure the water was reduced while I was parboiling the veg. I'd put the veg in. I'm not sure I recorded that. Vegetable was done and packed, and it tasted super amazing. I got 5 small bowls. Then I went ahead super fast and cooked the egusi. I also got 5 small bowls, and it tasted super nice, if I may say. Then I went ahead and did umoyo. Umoyo is like fish, and at that point I was running against time. It was around 2 a.m. and that's all the food. Can you tell me? At this point in time, I was super proud of myself. How many bowls of food that was sitting on that window? I didn't put it away, somebody else did, but I was proud of myself.